Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. It's Kim here. And today we're working with, as you saw in the description, I'm doing a small video for Beebeecraft. I am an affiliate with them, and yes, this is a paid promotion, so I will earn a little, well, I earn free product from them, and if you possibly buy, I get a very small commission. But I'm working with this pom-pom trim today, and also some sequins, which I will show you in a second. And what I'm showing you today is how to use this trim in your junk journals, as well as how to embellish this trim to make it different from everybody else's. And when I buy something and I show it to you and you go out and buy it, I'm hoping that you'll do different things with it as well, and maybe work in different colors and have different applications for it. This is a great trim to use on clothing, sewing projects, and our junk journals. So you're not limited just to junk journal trims. But it is a fun trim to work with. What I like about it is the pom-poms, and I like the movement that it creates on your journal, and it just looks happy, right? So it is fun to work with, even by itself. But again, if you want to be different and you want to have different things that other people don't have, it's fun to make things unique and for yourself. So just to give you an idea, first of all, this came in a plastic bag, just loose in a bag, and it was 20 yards in the bag. And in Canadian dollars, I paid approximately $3.60, I think, for the 20 yards. That's a lot of yardage for that small amount of money. In US dollars, it's about $2.63. So I just wound it on these cards just so that it was a little bit more manageable. And I'm going to be using this in my journals, my 16 journal mass make project. It's kind of a woodlands fairy type journals that I'm doing. So I wanted to use this to trim a couple of pages. And so in each journal, there's going to be some scrapbooking paper that is different from each one journal to the next, but there will be scrapbooking paper, and my idea was to trim this with the pom-pom trim. Now, it's very easy to just glue with your white glue. The only thing is that it takes a little longer to dry. Of course, you got to lay it somewhere flat where it's going to dry, or you can tack it down and then stitch it on. I'm choosing just to use my hot glue gun and glue it down. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue to get me started. Now I pre-cut these because this trim, it has threads going. I'll just pick up another piece here. It has threads going right through it. So it's holding it on together. So I don't worry so much that it's going to unravel when I cut it. So I pre-cut it to match these pages and to be able to work with it a little bit easier. And I'm just running a little bit more glue at a time. Don't try to do the whole thing because you've got pom-poms in the way. And if the ribbon curls a little bit on you, then you could get caught in the glue, and then you have a bigger mess to deal with. But just running my glue. And I don't put much. It doesn't have to be really thick. This will hold in place. Glue to paper with fabric, hot glue works very, very good for this application. And just going right to the edge there. Now I did give myself a little bit of wiggle room, but this is cut pretty tight here, so I can just kind of squeeze it in place. So you can see how fun that trim is on the edge of a page. And I'll just show you a journal. Now, it's not, these journals aren't finished yet, but this is where you would see the pom-pom sticking out on the side of the page. So it's, again, it adds a little bit of interest and a little bit of fun in here, and a little bit of movement. It's just, I like it. And so I can leave the trim just like that. It is plenty enough, except I do want to put some on the other side. But if you want to make it look different, of course, then you can dress it up. So I've got some of this bling here cut as well. And I'm just going to take a little bit, maybe 3 pieces, and put a little bit of glue on each of these. Hope you can see what I'm doing. And I'm going to lay it down on top. Now, I don't put this on ahead of time because in case, you know, I've cut my piece wrong or I have to trim some off, it just makes it easier to not have it glued down before you glue the pom-pom fibers down. And so now, again, running a little bit of glue. So you can see this is pretty fast to do. Laying it down in the glue. And I usually like to use a pokey tool to poke into here. Now these bling bits are plastic. They come on those wider strips, and I just cut off a single strand to use for this. I use this for trimming ruffles as well. And again, going just a little ways at a time. So that I don't run into any problems where I'm sticking it into the glue the wrong way. And so you can see again how this is already changing the look. And it's fun. It's fun to make these trims look so different from when you first buy them. Now, Beebeecraft, if you do purchase from them, I do have a coupon code, so you would get a discount. And it doesn't take very much of a purchase to get over the basic price to be able to get free shipping, which is kind of nice too, right? And they're, you know, considering their location, my package arrived, I think it was 10 days. So I think that's pretty good as far as anywhere where you're going out of country to purchase something. So there it is with the bling trim on it now. And what a difference that makes, right? Very simple, easy trim to put on here. And this is, you can purchase this also probably from Beebeecraft. I'm sure they have all different kinds. You can use flat back pearls. You could use individual gemstones to decorate this, or flat back pearl pieces to decorate this. You could also use buttons, fibers, crocheted fibers, just plain fibers, all kinds of things to just further enhance this and to kind of match in with the colors that you're using. Another favorite way for me to decorate these is to use some sequins. I'm just going to get that out of the way. So I have these sequins, and they are a flower. Okay. I hope you can see those all right. And what I've done, excuse me, I have one here, okay, is I've decorated this with the sequins. Now I'm going to lay it down flat so you can see it better. Glue strings. So you may have to zoom in to see this, but this is what it would look like with the sequins on it. And now this I did ahead of time, but I kind of knew that I wasn't going to go right to the edges. And if I had to put one more on, I would just either stitch it on before I glued it down, or glued it down with the bead already through it, and then just hand glued it down the one piece. But this just secures them better. They are knotted. I do knot these at as I go through and I do each one. So I could actually cut this into different lengths if I wanted to do ahead of time to maybe prepare for a project and just want to be able to adjust it as I go along for size. But because I'm doing the edges of these pages, I kind of knew what size I wanted. This is not for the faint of heart to do this, because it takes time. And that's the main thing, is that there is some time involved in this. So I'm just going to show you one to get you started so you have an idea of how I do this. I have some beading needle that I'm using. It's a long, very, very fine needle with a single thread on it. So it is loose at the top here. I usually work, when I'm doing beading, I usually work in single thread. So I just start close to the edge, but not right to the edge. And I just picked a spot and poked my needle through. And then taking one of the sequins, I fed that onto the thread, onto the needle, and then you just kind of lay it down flat where you know it's going to be. And then I got out a gold bead, just a tiny little gold seed bead. And there it is right there. I hope you can see that. And then I just go back through the same hole, and what this does is the bead holds the sequin in place. So pulling the thread through, and this is now knotted in place. And I just do a little knot at the back here. I knot as I go. It's just a habit that I picked up right away when I started doing beading, so that I knew that my stuff wasn't going to come undone, and that I could cut it at any spot, and I know that the beads are on here secure, or sequins, or whatever I'm working with. So then I just, once it's been knotted, I don't cut the thread or anything, I just keep going. And so I just kind of moved over to, you know, a spot that was pleasing to me. You could space them more, but I wanted them sort of close, as you can see on this one. And then just pulled my thread up to the front. And I will say this, and I'll say it a couple more times yet today. With all this stuff going on of pom-poms and all these sequins having little petals, 5 little petals, and you're working with thread, and you're knotting, and you're going in and out on this trim, it is just a disaster in the making when it comes to things getting knotted up. So when you're doing this, you do have to probably have some patience. I wouldn't drink too many cups of coffee beforehand because you'll be pretty wired, and then it's not easy to do. You know, and then putting your bead on the needle and securing it. You are constantly having to be aware of where your thread is and what it's catching onto. And so it's why I say it's not for the faint of heart. It takes time to do this. And to be perfectly honest with you, I'm probably only going to do this one only because I started it to show you, and I need a match for this one for one of my pages, and that's probably the last one I'm going to do. Only because you can see, like, it's catching on every little thing, and like I've got to turn it over now and knot this so that if something does go wrong on my needle, that's another reason why I knot them, so that I can just cut the thread and start over again so that I can maintain some strength. How does that sound? So once it's knotted, I can again bring my needle back up to the front and keep going. And I'm not going to go any further. This is just basic beading with sequins. I'm sure there are lots of tutorials that are up close and where you can actually see every little thing. I know it's not easy for you to see it on here, but this is what it looks like when it's done. And you know, when you get to the end, it is very rewarding, definitely. But yeah, the fact that I got to make 2 for each journal and I'm doing 16 journals, that would be 32 of these. Not going to happen. I'm going to do a lot of them with this bling because that's the easy way out. But there is another way to do these. Now I'm going to get this and my needle out of the way. I do want to talk about needles after. Excuse me. I don't know why, but whenever I'm on camera, I burp a lot. I don't know why. But another way to trim these is to add beads to them. Now I have one here that is done. Yes. Now this one, I have put the beads in between each piece or each pom-pom. So in this case, I needed 9 on here. Will I do all 36 strands with 9 beads? No, because 36 times 10 is 360 minus 36. That's 344 of these little beads that I'd have to make. Not going to happen. But there's a better chance of this happening if I only have to do 1 or 2, more so than with like sequins or other beads. But this is fun, and I love doing this type of beading on lots of different applications, not just the pom-poms, but also on lace trim and gimp ribbon. And you'll see me do stuff like that in the future. So I've got some of these green beads in my tray here, and some head pins. Now these are the ones that have the little, they look like little nails or like little straight pins, but they're a little bit sturdier. And I'm just going to put a few beads in here. So these are shorter head pins that I just happen to have in stock. So otherwise I would use a longer one and cut the, yeah, I can't feed that on there easy. And then I would cut the pin shorter. And then adding the green bead and one more gold bead. So there are my 3 beads on the pin. Now I know that this is plenty long enough to make the loop that I put at the end, just like you would make dangles for your journals. So I'm just going to bend this down a little bit, and then taking my needle nose pliers, and I'm going to grab it just by the tip of the wire and turn it and roll it to the other side, but I'm not going to completely close it. Now this is again not something I can easily show on camera, but I will do my best here to show you. Hopefully you can see that it is still open and that bead is still moving around in there a little bit. But now I can take my trim, my pom-pom trim. Now I'm putting them sort of, I'm going to go back and add one here, but I'm just putting them in between the pom-poms. So I'm just going to pick this up. And I just look for the halfway point. In this case, I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in between. So I'm going through the third one, which is halfway. And there are like little tiny pinholes already in this. But just because I'm showing you on camera, of course. It doesn't matter which one I go through because I have to do this, finish this one off anyway. 2, 3. Okay. So it has come through on the other side. I hope you can see that. And so just taking my beads and holding them down and pulling just a little bit, I'm going to close this. Now, if you want to close these first and use a ball pin or a jump ring, you can always do that as well. Need my other pliers here. Just to finish closing this. So even this takes time, but it's not as intense as it is with the sequins, but you can see how cute that looks in between there. You can make longer beads if you wanted, but because this is going down the side of a page, I don't want them to be dangling too much. And to give you an idea of how they would look along the side of a page, there is the side. So it gives you, again, a little bit more movement, a little bit more addition, and it makes your trim look different. Now, for me, because this is such a creamy piece and it's so plain, I will probably still want to go back and add some of this green trim on here to further enhance it. If you can sort of see what that looks like. I'm not sure if I can show you this, but I will try. I think you get the idea, but I will try to show you how it would look. So once this is done with 2 pieces, you're going to have quite a bit of pom-poms and beads here. But you have to remember that if you're putting this in a signature, this page is going to be a little ways away from that page unless it's the very middle page. Which, you know, you would probably try to plan this so that it's not the very middle page. I'm trying to straighten it out. I'd glue it down, but I already got the other one going on this one. So you can see how it would look on the edge of the page. I hope you can see that. And you will see these trims on my journals when I get to the point where I'm showing my next level of the journals. So that is yet another method that you can use to further enhance your pom-pom trim. And the last one that I'm going to show you, but it's certainly not the least, there are hundreds of ways that you can do this. You can do just plain beading, which is what I'm going to show you. And I have done a piece. I'm not going to do it on camera for you, but this is the beading that I've done. This one will definitely be one of a kind. I may not even do a second one of these because I don't even know if I'm going to put it on a journal. I think I might keep this to decorate on the front of a journal cover or something as a separate piece. Or I may cut it into smaller pieces and use it as, you know, embellishments on something. Because this is an incredible amount of work. You know, I say I won't do it, but I know me, I'll probably go back and still do it anyway. But this is just using tiny little seed beads and beading them on the same way you would do any type of beading. And again, knotted at the back on every single one. Now, just to tell you a little bit about the sequins, because I also got these from Beebeecraft. They came in an assortment of colors. Yellow 1, 2, pink, purple 3, the green 4, a light green 5, orange 6, kind of a iridescent 7, blue 8, and this is kind of a light blue iridescent 9, and then the pink. So there's 10 packages. Each package has 320 sequins in it for a total of 320, so 3,200 pieces of sequins. And this was $4.60 Canadian. So it's probably around $3 or so in US dollars. You'd have to double check. I do have the links to both the sequins and the pom-pom trim in my description box, and you just click on the link and it will take you right to Beebeecraft where you can see these items and possibly place an order. And if you do decide to order, you can use my coupon code, which is also in the description box, and get a 10% discount as well. Now, if you are a YouTube channel and you have as small amount of subscribers as 100, if you only have 100 subscribers, that's okay. It's enough for Beebeecraft to say, yes, we would like you to represent us. So you can contact them. There is a link on my description where you can go direct to go to Beebeecraft and become an affiliate of theirs. And if not, you can also go right directly to their website and scroll down to the bottom of the page. And there is a section that says affiliates, YouTube affiliates, somewhere on the bottom of the page. But a great company to work for. I've enjoyed every item that I've got so far. I can't wait for the next project and to be able to use the next product and to be able to reorder. And, you know, I'm saying this honestly and truthfully. I'm not just an affiliate. I'm also a customer, because it'll take me a million years to get all the products that I want. If you saw my favorites box, it's full to the maximum. And so even though I'm affiliate for them, I'm also buying product because the prices are incredible and there's just so much that they offer. So do at least go and have a peek. If nothing else, just go have a peek. So that's it for this video. I showed you the pom-poms in just a few different ways that you can decorate them, as well the sequins that I used and how you can get them as well. So I hope you've enjoyed this. It is a little bit of work doing all those little extra embellishments, but that's what makes these projects yours and unique to you. Now, I do want to talk about one other thing that's over and above Beebeecraft. Now, when I'm beading, I'm using regular beading needles. These are my own. They didn't come from Beebeecraft. I think they do have needles there. You'll have to double check on them. But Hazel was having some issues where she said she couldn't thread the needle. I use a needle threader, and it's hard. You do have to wiggle it around to pull the thread through. And as she said, she's broke a few needles. She's broke a few of these. There is another method of putting the thread in between your two fingers, nice and tight, where you can just barely see the end, and then using the needle and lining it up. I have to do it with a magnifying glass if I do it that way, but that is another option, Hazel, if you're thinking about it. But Hazel had gone and got a couple packages of collapsible needles. They're collapsible eye needles, and I, you know, because she did, I did. You can pick these up at Michael's. When I saw the long ones, I thought, ooh, that's going to be interesting. I haven't used the long ones yet, but I'll show it to you in a second. These are the shorter ones. They are maybe about 2.5, 3 inches long. Yeah, about 2.5 inches long. Now they have an eye. I hope you can see that on the packaging. They have a very large eye hole that you can use to put your thread through. So threading these is a breeze. Absolutely, just thread it. You can almost thread it with your eyes closed. Using the needles, I find that they're too bendy. I cannot pick up these tiny beads. I was cursing and complaining. I cannot pick them up because it's too bendy. And I had no problem pushing the needle through the fabrics that I tried them on, and same with this trim. I had no problem pushing the needle through these trims. It just takes a little bit of wiggling. And the needle, when you put the beads on, you do have to kind of pull them on to get them over that open eye hole and over the thread. So there is a pause there when you're beading to stop and do that, to push the beads down. Once they're down, you don't have to worry about them coming back up, of course, because unless you actually pop them off the opposite way, like slide them off the opposite way, they're not going to come off on their own. So that is a plus. But I do not like the collapsible, or this bendy needle. I just found it very difficult to pick the beads up when I was working with it. But that's me. So please don't go by just my method. If anything, it's not a huge investment. Just go and buy a package and try them for yourself, because the threading part and the fact that the beads do not come off once you've got it on the thread is great. Now these long ones, I haven't actually tried them yet, but because I was there and I thought, well, I'm not going to come back for them. I'm just going to buy them. They have a huge hole here. If I can split it open now. Yes. Okay. So you can see that the hole is quite wide on this. So very easy to thread. The two pieces seem a little bit more sturdier than this needle, and so I haven't played with them yet, but I think they're going to be okay for, yeah, they're much better for threading. The only thing is if you're doing small stuff and you're working with this pom-pom type trim, I don't know that I would want to use this type of needle because it's so long. And if you're only putting 1 or 2 beads or a sequin on at a time, it may not be worthwhile to use this for that reason. But if you're doing a lot of beadwork where you're stringing a lot of beads at a time, this needle is definitely sturdier, and you get good length, and then of course threading is much easier. So that is something to consider if you're going to buy some of these needles. But I would certainly recommend, don't go just by me. Maybe you have no problem. I can't even pick the needle up. Here we go. Something on my finger here. So you can't. I find it difficult with the picking the beads up. That's just my opinion. But Hazel also bought them, so hopefully she will give you a review as well when she's working with them to let you know how they work for her. But anyway, I just wanted to share that with you on this video. Otherwise, that's it. That's all for this video. I wish you all a very creative day and a creative week, and I look forward to seeing you all soon. And you will see these trims on my mass making 16 journals coming up in the future episodes. That's it. That's all. Bye for now.